Monday, March the 7th, 2022. Of course, we do free picks on this show, add in some commentary, and hopefully go over, have time to go over at least one of our betting tools that we have on the website, because I know they're starting to get bigger, and I know that with that comes a little bit of confusion for some people. So we just want to make sure that everybody out there can take advantage of everything that they have to offer. How you doing today, Joe? You're on mute.
Good. Doing good. Thanks, Mitch. Sorry, I was muted there for a second. Am I unmuted?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Sorry, I was trying to open YouTube so that I could see the comments, and then my mouse wasn't going to the mute button quick enough, and then I realized I could mute myself. You know, one of those Monday mornings.
Yep, it happens. That's for sure. I always struggle on.
You're like, I know how to do this. I really do.
I struggle on Mondays, and I don't know why it is, but I just always seem to struggle every Monday. Yesterday,
well, it's Mondays. I think it's like a mental thing with Mondays as well.
Yesterday the site was down for a portion of the morning, so that was a struggle during the show. I apologize once again to everyone that was affected by that, and for those that were watching the show, and I just was trying to do two things at once, which just reinforces that I'm probably spread a little too thin over here. But anyways, no excuses. Just keep rolling right along. March Madness is now full swing. There is no more regular season college basketball. Every game is an elimination game from here on out. Doesn't necessarily mean in some of the tournaments that we'll see starting tomorrow that loser goes home. Loser will still go to the big dance depending on who you are, but for a lot of these teams, it is their last game. So you always have to remember that. And, we saw teams yesterday that, once again, it wasn't necessarily the team that looked better all season long. It was the team that was playing either better coming into the games or just wanted it more. And really that's what it's all about. And we saw it, time and time again yesterday. And, we're going to see it throughout the next few weeks, which is, if you're a sports fan, a college basketball fan, this is your time. This is your week. This week and next week are the two biggest weeks of the year for college basketball.
Yeah, it's going to be a great couple of weeks, Mitch. I know you're going to head out to Vegas and see some of those games out there, so that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's like I like to go there, but probably just going to be very low key. Not really sure exactly what's going on with that. In fact,
okay,
might have to see what's up with that. But anyways, just a lot going on everywhere, so it just makes it difficult. But
absolutely
have a lot of not a lot. Today we're going to do a combo on the VIP and premium on YouTube. So those of you that are members, we're just going to do a combo show. There's not enough games really to produce two quality things, and I think that's really what it's all about. But let's just take a quick look at this NBA card and get rolling right into it. Got in the early games, we've got the Pistons and the Hawks, the Sixers and the Bulls, the Heat and the Rockets, and the Timberwolves and the Blazers. We've got two massive spreads and then two 7.5-point spreads, which are still big spreads for the NBA. We saw it yesterday in that Raptors game against it was the Cavaliers game. We saw that one, it's like that. It shrunk in a hurry, the Cavs-Raptors game, but the Raptors couldn't get there. But we've got these today, and two massive spreads in Miami, 15 points, in Minnesota, 14.5 points. These are big numbers.
They're huge numbers, but I look at this Heat-Rockets game and go, I know the Rockets have been great on that spread. Well, not great, but they're 15-18 on that spread. The Heat are 16-13. It's one of those ones where I feel like the books are really wanting you to take the Rockets here, but I think the Heat come in and just destroy them in this game. I know 15 points is so many, but the Heat are such a stronger team. They only won by 10 points back in December, so just a lean on that. But I think you got to ride with the Heat. And I think you do have to ride with the Timberwolves in this one. Again, it's so many points here, but the Trailblazers have just been that bad. They're 0-4 against the spread in their last 4 meetings versus the Minnesota Timberwolves, 2-7 against the spread in their last 7 games overall. I could see the Timberwolves completely blowing them out of the water here in a high-scoring game. So I'm going to ride with those huge spreads. I don't like doing it, but I think that's the only way to go with that. And then I really do I worry for the Chicago Bulls tonight. I don't think they can cover the spread either. The Bulls have just been struggling every time they face the 76ers. They are 0-6 against the spread in the last 6 meetings, and 1-6 against the spread the last 7 meetings actually in Philadelphia as well. So I think I'm laying on the favorites for sure, except for the Pistons. I think the Pistons probably get the cover there. They're playing too hot right now, playing their best basketball right now.
Yeah,
Mitch?
Only one of the last 6 games against the 76ers has the spread been this high in the Bulls-Sixers matchups. So
it's true.
Certainly a factor there. And Philly has been favored in all of those as well. But, yeah, I think I'm going to clearly avoid that thing. I don't know about the Heat Rockets. I think the Heat are a good team. I don't know about covering these giant spreads, though. Not something that, I'm super comfortable with. And, the Timberwolves, who knows what Timberwolves are going to show up. So just makes, I just think these are some good games to, kind of steer clear of. And, you don't have to bet every game and you don't have to bet every day. I mean, we normally could find something. But, I would say on these, see what the betting tools have to say and tread lightly, Yeah. Because it's like, to me, it's like, I always get emails from people saying, oh, I just want one big game to bet on today. Not like I'm going to give it to them, right? Because we have our premium picks. You can just get them there, right? But it's like, I just have one big game. It's like, well, that game isn't there today. It's like, just because you want to do it today doesn't mean that game is there. So
that is true.
I think a lot of people are just confused by that, and at least not for me. Maybe for somebody else they are. I mean, I have days like where on the premium show, Brian will say, "This is a great card today," and it's like it's not a great card, and I'll be like, I'll have other days where I say, "I really like this card," and he'll say, "This is a bad card." It's like, I mean, I kind of like to bet the opposite of what Brian has.
Well, I can honestly say I'm not loving today's
sometimes.
I
think sometimes, sometimes I do. It's like it just works that way. He gets into these, he can't get out of his own way sometimes. And me too. I do the same thing. I can't get out of my own way. Just you get into these things and it's just kind of like it's not working. So it's like even though it's tried and true and it's worked over the long haul, sometimes things change.
Absolutely. I think maybe I'm kind of a little jaded towards the favorites today after the Dogs killed me yesterday, the ones that I had in premiums in the NBA. So we saw the Suns, not cover the spread by 1 point? And then what was the other game that went to overtime that really shouldn't have gone to overtime?
Oh, the Nuggets.
And then the Dog,
Yeah.
I was losing my mind. I was like, okay, that's it. Strong NHL day, terrible NBA day yesterday for me.
We've got,
and then the Wizards came out and blew them out of the water. It was one that I liked. I'm kind of jaded towards yesterday, Mitch. NBA killed me.
Well, we've got. I always seem to stink on Saturdays. The last 3 Saturdays, I'm gonna remember this during the NCAA tournament because last year the first and second round it was the same thing. Friday, Saturday, or Thursday, Friday, and Sunday I killed it. Saturday I was terrible. And I think this year I'm going to just remember that, and I think it's something that it's just the way that's been running. The last 3 Saturdays I've gotten killed, and the last 3 Sundays I've killed it. So it's like, so it's I don't know what it is.
And I'm terrible on Sundays, so follow Mitch on Sundays, never me.
I think what it is on Saturday,
Wednesday.
I'm just wading through the giant pool of games, and as I'm wading through this giant pool of games. It's like I'm throwing things to the side and I'm jumping on other things too early. I don't know. But whatever it is, it's really has been that way the last 3 weeks. Mavericks versus Jazz, Spurs versus Lakers. We've got the Nuggets versus the Warriors. and the Kings versus the Knicks. Knicks with the big
Oh,
win last night over the Clippers.
oh,
That was the
big
only
win.
game. This was the only game I lost yesterday.
Oh, wow. Good for you. Yeah, the Knicks here. You can't trust this Knicks team. I don't care if they finally got a win. I'm going to fade the Knicks, and I'm going to take the under in that game. I think we have a lower scoring one. Both these teams trend nicely to that under. And then give me the Warriors plus the points. I think that's too many points for the Denver Nuggets here to get the cover. They're 0-6 against the spread as a favorite following an overtime win. So I do think this is a hard one. The Warriors do play them tight as well, 7-3 against the spread those last 10 meetings. And then I think I'm going to lean on the Mavericks as well over the Jazz. I don't think we can trust the Jazz. The Jazz have just been playing poorly on the road. They haven't been covering on the road as of late. They're 14-16-1 on the road this season against that spread, but 1-6 against the spread their last 7 road games. So I'm not going to put faith in them here when the Mavericks have been just playing some great ball as of late. How about you, Mitch?
I like the Lakers here against the Spurs. They've owned the Spurs in recent meetings, so I'm gonna just ride that train. And I'm gonna take the Mavericks here against the Jazz. The Mavs only recent loss that they've had was against the Jazz. That was in Utah. It was a good game, and I think they just get revenge here. And this one might just go on the money line, but I think you could lay the 1.5. I like the Nuggets against the Warriors. The Warriors are sitting everyone tonight. So normally that's all built into the line, and I say that all the time. It's built into the line. But the Warriors, Steph Curry, anyone that you know, any of the names that you know are not playing. So, basically they're saying, we're going to not try tonight. So Klay Thompson, Wiggins, Steph Curry, all out for this one. And, of course, Draymond Green's been out. Wiseman is out, but he's actually listed that he's going to be coming back soon. They're going to be really good when they get Draymond Green and Wiseman and Iguodala all back. No one's going to beat them. They're going to win the whole thing. And, I think you could just pretty much mail it in. Like if you want to put
I didn't realize they were sitting everyone tonight.
Yeah, if you want to put a futures bet in,
Yeah.
With Wiseman coming back, I would say Warriors to win the whole thing is a solid futures bet, and kind of leads us into a segue here where we can kind of look real quickly. Let's see what we got. Hell is this? I had it all nicely set up. Maybe I closed out of it on my screen. I'll have to redo it again. It's okay. Yeah, I think I did yesterday when I was putting up my picture of me and my friend John at the beach.
That was a great picture.
So, let's see. But anyways, it does make a good segue. And go this. And here. So you just go to sportschatplace.com and you click on the betting tools. And if you go to the front page is just overwhelming. At 17 years old, Brazilian soccer star Neymar makes his professional debut for Brazil in 2009. But you go to the standings in the NBA, and right here you can see what the odds are to win the conference. You go to the Warriors are plus 175 here to win the conference. That's how much of a difference that's going to make. And you see right there, the Memphis Grizzlies, who have been super hot this season, plus 1,000. So the Suns and the Warriors are just pretty much the two top teams. Anything after that, I guess there's not a lot of value there on the Warriors to win the conference. But if you want to look at the other angles here as to what Where is it? See, even I'm confused. Conference, league.
Yeah, there's so much information to get used to navigating in there. It's incredible once you work it out.
So here it is: the Warriors to win the championship is plus 400, and the Suns are also plus 400. You see, the Grizzlies have been so hot this season, plus 2,500, and the Heat at plus 1,000, Jazz plus 1,800. So that's just the difference. Like the Jazz, who. Yeah, they had the Jazz might have some value there. And then you look at the Eastern Conference teams, and the Sixers are plus 700. The Bucks, the defending champs, plus 650. So definitely the money is on the Warriors here, and I could see why. And the Brooklyn Nets plus 650. I think it's going to be the Nets and the Warriors, or the Nets and the Sixers and the Warriors in the final. Is my guess, at least at this point.
Okay, I like that.
But you can adjust it exactly how you want this, by the season, by the odds to win the division. Right now, the Jazz minus 1,250 to win the division. The Suns minus 10,000 to win their division over the Warriors. Oh. There's just not that many games left. There's only 18 regular season games left, and they're up by 8 games in the win column. The Warriors are not going to catch them. No. You can see all these other teams. They're not even taking action on at this point to win the division. Like the Heat here against with just 17 games left to play, they're not even taking action on the Southeast.
Yeah, it's crazy. Done deal there.
The one where they're taking action is the East, the Atlantic. Okay. Big action here. The Celtics, just 3 games in the loss column. They're behind the Sixers. They've played 3 more games, and they've lost all 3 of them. But you get plus 250 on them. I don't know. I think they have a chance.
Oh.
But looking at the betting tools, there's all sorts of other things that you can look at here. And one that we were looking at the other day was quarters. So in order to get those across, the reason why they have the reason why we have all of these, why we limit it to 10 that you can have going across, is that after that it just becomes a mess. You can't even you can't possibly keep track of it, of all the different things. So at 10 is the max that you can put. So you have to eliminate certain columns if you want to look at other things. And it will make sense because it's relevant. So, one of the things we looked at was the quarters, and to see who's best in each quarter. And so here's the first quarter teams. And actually, we could do this one by league. We lost our settings. Well, that's not good. I would have to do it all over again. Anyways, you guys saw it. No, I'm not going to do that. We'll come back to it. We'll do it again. It takes 2 seconds. We can actually get rid of all of these because it's not something we're looking at. And we're not looking at this either. We're just looking at these 4. We could even get rid of this.
So what do you have up there, Mitch?
I have.
Which ones are you going to look at?
Well, we're looking at the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter as to who's strongest where. So who's strongest out of the gate. This is, to me, is one of the easier bets to make because you don't know. It's going to be 0-0 at the beginning of the quarter, right? We know it's going to be 0-0. So if you just sort by this, the Bucks win the first quarter 60% of the time. They're the best team in the first quarter. And then you find the worst teams in the first quarter. The Magic are the worst team in the first quarter. They get blown out right out of the gate. And the Pistons are terrible in the first quarter too. but this is over the course of a season. So I think that we need to, I guess that's the only defaults that they'll let us. They won't let us go to less than that. So that's something that I would like to see. Lower parameters for quarters.
The last 10 games or something.
Yeah, like kind of like the
5.
props, where you can go 5 games, 10 games, or last 30 days or something like that. So
Absolutely.
I know we could do it. I just think that there might be another tool on the way that does that. We just need, I need to talk to the guys. We'll figure it out. But I think that like I said, there's probably another tool that covers that sort of thing. So it might be overlap, but I'll find out. But I know we can do it. It's not an issue. I think the issue with this thing here is that the titling of standings all the way, but you can't put, comprehensive betting history, season, for every sport of every team, based on quarter, period, half, game, everything.
You should just call it the Holy Grail of information.
It wouldn't fit in, in the menu bar.
Right? Someone said Holy Grail is sports betting. These tools they're absolutely unbelievable. All the information people are getting here, Mitch. It blows my mind. So you guys get used to them now, because like Mitch always says, they're getting bigger and better every week.
Yeah, so it's like we're going to continue to add. I know that the next couple of rounds, I don't know what order they're going to come in. I'll probably find out on Wednesday what order these are going to come out in, and I'll let you guys know. But we have, player prop stuff that like how we enhance the parlay, we're going to enhance the player props. We have, what were the other things that I said we're doing? Oh, the live betting. I know those two are are coming out next. The live betting is something that's new to the betting tools. The player props will just be an enhancement of what we're already doing. But with this, you could just see what team is good in what quarter. So it's like, who comes out of the half really good is this one. That's another one to know. The Warriors come out of the locker room on fire, Yeah. They're a second half team. They're 50-50 in the first half, in each of the first quarters. They're just 50. It's coin toss. But when you get into the third quarter, they come out of that locker room. Someone's coaching up a storm out there. And the team that comes out of the locker room flat, once again, the Pistons. But, the Pistons right now compared to the Pistons, over the entire season, probably just a different story. And you look at the teams that are flat out of the half, and it's pretty much the worst teams in the league, except for the Bulls. And the Nuggets, the Clippers, the Nets. Yeah, the Bucks come out flat. So it's like, this will be good in the playoffs. Is where you'll really see the difference, because there's only it seems to me that this is one of the more limited subsets, is this third quarter, where only 11 of the 30 teams have a winning record in the third quarter. So it's like, these are the teams that you want to bet in the third quarter. Any of these. I would say any of these top 10, Cavaliers, Hornets, Jazz, Grizzlies, and they all make sense. I like it. Anyways, we've got a lot of different, tools, and each day on this show, we're going to go over a tool and kind of take, we don't care. We don't hate yesterday talk. What we hate is yesterday talks when you did not give the pick before the game started, or at the time. We have a ton of places for you to do that, and we don't care about picks that you didn't give out. It just means you threw a ton of losers on the floor. That's all that means to us. It's absolutely meaningless. And it's like, I'm congratulations. We're happy that you won. That's what it's all about. And that's why we're here. And that's why we show up every day. And, some days we have, thousands of people watching, and some days we have 5, but it's like, we show up every day because it's all about, getting people on winners. But it's like, we do not care that you're good at throwing your losers on the floor. It's like, because that's all it means to me. When you tell me about a pick that you won yesterday, it just means you threw a bunch of losers on the floor and just, here's the one I won, I had a friend, they had the Saturday morning movies, and I don't know if I'm going to date myself here, and not that anyone cares.
Saturday morning movies?
Well, Saturday morning movies, you would go to the movie theater, and they'd have like a special movie. It was like $1 or $2. You got like a box of popcorn. We didn't have any money, so it was like a quarter to get in or something, or $1. And you got like a box of popcorn, a movie ticket, and it was like some movie that was like an old movie, like not even like one of the fresh movies. And then they had, before the movie, they'd have a race, like an old-fashioned race, like bicycle race. It would be like a bicycle race, and then they would like have like an obstacle course. It's like these old-fashioned guys, and they would have 1 through 10, these guys. And when you came into the movie theater, they gave you a ticket, a little ticket, and you had a person in the race. Everybody had them. And of course, the one they knew who was going to win. Cool. So they would have very limited numbers of the ones that won, and it's like, 4 and 8, right? And everyone's screaming, so going, all the kids. And I had a friend of mine who just figured it out, it's like, I'm just going to get every number, he's always won, Yeah. So it's like he always won, and they always say, all right, with your winning tickets, you go to the front of the theater, and they give you a prize. It's always like some model, some piece of crap toy, like that breaks in like 5 minutes, one of those. And it's so it's like, he'd always be up there getting his prize every week. And but meanwhile, on his seat, this 9 losers, on the floor.
Yeah.
So it's like
they had the one winner.
I don't know if they eventually they will it's all good. It's all like I said, it's all good. It doesn't mean we don't like you or any of those things. It's like, I would rather have you give the picks out before the game. That's all I'm saying. It's like, it's just like Crazy Allen, it's like, yeah, he always won, but he always had 9 losers too.
So where was this race? Like inside, outside?
No, it's on the screen, on the movie screen.
Oh, okay.
We're talking like the old movie theaters. This was at anyone that's from Miami. It's at the Sunnyland movie theater. At Sunnyland, they had it every Saturday.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was like $1, a quarter maybe to get in. It was a quarter maybe, or $1. It was way inexpensive.
Yeah. But I'm sure they packed it out.
Yeah, it was full of like broke kids or kids whose parents just wanted to get rid of them for a couple hours, or both. So Crazy Al and I were there every Saturday.
But so smart for the theater, because no one else would have come early in the morning, right?
So it was like kind of a thing.
So and they filled it.
Yeah, they filled the place, and they sold other stuff, sodas, and everybody got the box of popcorn. It was like totally salty. It was probably the popcorn left over from the night before.
It's always the best though. If you take movie theater popcorn home, eat it the next day, it's way better.
Well, there you go, guys. Yep. So when you show up at Joe Madden's house for that big hot first date, you show up with that. This is from yesterday's movie I went to with my date yesterday. This is she's like acted like she never eats anything. You go out to, it's like back when I dated, it's like you meet these people, and it's like this, you never eat, right? You never eat anything. Is that how this works? It's like no way,
That's not me.
And they bring the friend, sometimes they bring the friend. It's like the friend never eats. It's like, we eat. Don't kid yourself. I had my first anniversary. My wife and I went to this restaurant in Chicago called Blackbird. Super fancy, Michelin star, like the whole 9 yards.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, Chicago has like more 5-star restaurants than any other city. They have like just unbelievable. And so we went to Blackbird. We'd heard all these great things about it, and it's like, man, the tables were like this close together. Right. So the woman next to me, she had to be like 350 pounds, which is, it's fine, whatever, you do. But it's like,
shoulder to shoulder.
And then they serve the food. And I swear to God, my piece of fish was this big. It was like this big. It It said like, oh, it comes with this puree. It was like with an eyedropper on the plate, you know? It was like, it looked, you know, like fancy or whatever, but it was super small. I mean, like super small. It was like microscopic. And I'm like, now I know why they call this place Blackbird, right? Because everyone's wearing black and you're eating like a bird, right? So it's like, but this woman, so they come on also, so it's like they have the bread, and they don't just give you the bread on the table. It's like the guy stands there, comes around and puts the piece of bread on the plate. You just stand right freaking here if we're going to play this game. You know, I was starving. Yeah, and I see bread. This woman like eating next to me. She's just taking like a little bite. And it's like, there's no way you eat like this. I'm ordering a pizza on the way home. I'll tell you that much. I did. And, you know, I took a cab home with my wife. We ordered a pizza. You know, I was like, I'm starving.
Oh, I bet you were.
So you see these people, they like pick at their plate and stuff. Like, you don't eat like that. It's like, we have guests. John brought home like this giant brownie, you know? It's like, yeah, like that thing was going to make it through the night. You know, we cut it into 4 pieces. I microwaved mine. I threw my cookie dough ice cream right on top of the freaking thing.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, I eat on dates too. Eat all the time.
Yeah, you don't eat. And then they get the box.
Life's too short for the box.
Gonna lug this thing around with you. Like,
you know, they're scarfing it down as soon as they get in their door.
Oh, it's like
box of food.
Ridiculous.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I don't know. Mondays are always just weird days. Yesterday I had that near medical emergency. Today it's just like, I don't know. I got up a little bit late.
Well, I didn't tell you how my morning started.
How's that?
I let traffic outside, and then all of a sudden I heard barking. And so I'm looking out in the dark, and I thought he was looking at a cat, but it was a skunk. And so I ran out into the snow, picked him up, and ran inside with him like wanting to attack this thing. Neither of us got sprayed. Thank God. But this was not a happy skunk, and that's all I could smell running in the house. It had sprayed, but it didn't get us. Stinks outside. Damn skunk. I wouldn't have been happy sitting here if I got sprayed by a skunk. That's for sure.
Well, we've got college. Wow, nothing fun about that. It's like,
no,
we don't have a lot of this wildlife here. You know, it's like really limited.
Yeah,
so we don't have.
There's a family of skunks. I've seen them walk past. We've been on the show before. I've seen them walk past, like of our nighttime halftime shows, and they're so cute. But oh my God, they stink.
Well, let's get to college hoops. We've got Towson taking on Delaware. We've got South Dakota State Jackrabbits versus South Dakota, the Coyotes. Georgia State versus Louisiana, and Chattanooga versus Furman to get the ball rolling, and Cleveland State versus Wright State. This is just a brutally tough college basketball card today.
Oh, is it ever?
Really
tough.
Any of these 5 party starters work for you?
Yeah, looking at a couple of the totals, Mitch, I think I'm going to go with the over between Delaware and Towson. I think their offenses have just been playing nice and solid as of late, and I think we'll go over that 137.5 in that one. Or it's actually come down to 137. And then with the Jackrabbits, I think with their pace, I think we go over that total. I know it's brutally high at 152.5, but it's come down from 157, and I think it reaches close to that number. Jackrabbits trend nicely to that over on a neutral site, and so do the Coyotes. So give me the over in that one.
You know, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I think that's it. You did Furman as well, right?
Yeah.
That Furman game, I think that one will go under. I'm looking at totals in these ones because I think they're just so tight of games.
So this is the time of year where I start to play by feel, and I know like people will say, "Oh, you know, that's not handicapping and all of that other stuff," but it is because I've been doing these games all season long, you know. So it's not like I'm just pulling them out of thin air. It's like I've been doing this all season. And So it's like I have a good feel for these teams. So it's like I call it by feel, but it's like, I don't need to dig as deep as I did. I kind of like yesterday, I liked Charleston, right? They were a dog, and I was just like, I just see the way that they're playing, right? It's just, we just like it. And, another one that we talked about, and that one we talked about with Big Al, and he agreed, Pat Kelsey, coming out of Winthrop, he knows how to win these tournament games. The team was coming together. I liked also, I like the way Delaware was playing coming into that game against Drexel. So it's kind of like just a little bit of feel. And I think in today's card, it's a lot more of the same. And I think I'll probably be that way a lot this week because certain teams, the record doesn't tell the whole story,
Yeah.
and even the latest streak doesn't tell the whole story. The last 10 doesn't tell the whole story because it really is, in some of these teams, it's the last 4 or 5, just how they've looked out of the gate. And I think that, I love South Dakota State. Everyone knows that. But I think this game is probably a little tighter than the 9 points. I think South Dakota State wins the game. I think they're going to the tournament from the Big Sky. I do. Yeah. But I think that this game is going to be a little bit tighter than that. I also think Delaware beats Towson outright. I think they outright them. Getting 5 points in this thing, they don't need it. Delaware's been playing pretty well. And Towson, as good as their record is, and as good as their record is in their last 10 games, I've seen these guys. It's like, I'm not impressed. It's like they seem to, it's like they're never as good as they should be. So it's one of those situations where when you're not as good as Joe, if you hit this parlay, we're going to Blackbird. Well, wear black and be prepared to eat like a bird. They have, I don't even know if it's still in business. I think a lot of those restaurants in Chicago, true story, there's a restaurant in Chicago it's closed down also. It's called True, and it was like the highest rated restaurant in Chicago. Now the highest rated restaurant is Grant's restaurant. I forget the name of it. But it's super, super fancy, like super. It's like one of the top restaurants, like in the world, like type restaurant.
Do you feel comfortable sitting in those super fancy restaurants?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, because I never do.
I do. I just wear my blood zap on and whatever. I do.
I always feel weird in those fancy restaurants.
I don't care. Everyone's all dressed up. I got my my same shirts you guys see me wearing my videos. Zeppelin, AC/DC, whatever. Kiss Army. I just go right in. I don't care. Pair of jeans, flip flops.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, and 99.9% of the time, nobody ever says anything except, "Hey, that shirt's cool." Seriously.
Well, that's good. I always just talk too loud or laugh too loud, and it's just like always like so quiet and peaceful. I don't know. When I go to those fancy restaurants,
no fun allowed here.
Right? It just seems like I should be, I don't know.
I have no problem.
More sophisticated and quiet when I walk into those places, and it's not me.
I went to boarding school. They beat you down in the. See, I got the solid table manners, so like in eating, and everything, because I went to boarding school where they beat it into you and embarrass you in front of everybody.
Oh, I grew up with an English grandmother at heart, English at heart. She followed the Queen and Princess Diana, so we had to eat with all the fancy utensils from the outside in or the inside out. How does it work? Inside out, right?
Outside
Whichever
in.
way you go with it.
Outside in.
Outside in?
Yes.
Yeah. So she had all the different ways and all the etiquette and how to tip your soup bowl and everything. So I'm fine eating in fancy restaurants. I always just laugh too loud.
Yeah, I never, like, in school, like, when I first got there, they kind of, it wasn't so good. But, by the end, it's like, you're just sick of being publicly humiliated. So it's, you kind of buy into the system. And, we have here where I live, I mean, I've said it a number of times, and I certainly, don't think, and I'm not kidding either. I haven't worn long pants, in 2 years, and I haven't worn long pants ever here on this island.
Wow.
Yeah, ever.
We should all live where we don't have to wear pants.
Yeah.
Always shorts.
Yeah. I haven't worn shoes except so like I bought a pair of like I go walking in the morning when you guys see me on IG.
Yeah.
And I have a pair of running shoes that I just bought just to walk, for that because I had a pair and they were like 7 years old and I just finally got a new pair. But it's like I only wear sandals, shorts, and t-shirts. That's it. So it's like when we go out here, could be, to Spago or Mama's, or like, any of those places. Same thing. Led Zeppelin, Grateful Dead. Just pair of shorts, flip-flops.
Island life, gotta love it.
Yeah, it's super casual here. Like you see people, we have guests. We tell them it's like don't bring, don't bring much. You don't need it. And these guests brought 2 suitcases each. They flew in on Southwest, so they got free bags. Bags fly free or whatever. So they like took full advantage. They brought like a full kitchen of food. It's like I don't know. It's like what did you do that for?
Oh wow.
Yeah, they got bagels and crackers and cheese and all kinds of shit. Like we don't have crackers here or something.
They heard how expensive they are.
I think in the end though, like it's like they actually did do that. It's like I might snag some of that Captain Crunch he's got over there. I'll tell you that much. But it's got Captain Crunch, the peanut butter kind. I haven't had that in a long time.
Peanut butter Captain Crunch. Never even heard of it. I'm not a cereal person though. I don't know the last time I would have had cereal.
Could be. I watched Seinfeld like on Netflix last night, the stand-up one. He's talking about the Pop-Tart.
Okay, another thing I've never ate is a Pop-Tart.
Wow.
I'm sorry. Now you're judging me hugely.
I'm not judging.
Wow.
I'm just going to cry. I just feel sad for you. The king of the Pop-Tarts for me is the brown sugar cinnamon flavor with the icing.
Does it have like the sugar on the outside?
It has like an icing.
Okay.
The thing about the Pop-Tart is it's like, it's like they're never fresh. It's like it's never fresh. It's never. That's what Seinfeld was saying. It's like it's never fresh. It's like it's just.
Do you toast them?
Yeah, there's
or microwave
two
them?
Per package, 2 slots in a toaster. It's just
okay.
1's not enough, 3's too many. It was funny.
Yeah.
I've seen Seinfeld a bunch of times, but it was funny.
Maybe I need to buy my kids some Pop-Tarts.
Oh, absolutely.
They've never had
brown sugar cinnamon.
Brown sugar cinnamon. Okay. I'll pick them up some. I'm sure they'll be
Just get an 8-pack.
thrilled. Get an 8-pack.
Yeah. 2 per packet. It's 4 packets. You'll want it. You'll wish you've gotten the jumbo. Anyways, Wilmington taking on Charleston. Charleston's been playing pretty good, and people are noticing. We're seeing the spread rising in this game. We've got Gonzaga taking on San Francisco, 3rd time this season. We've got Purdue Fort Wayne, the Mastodons, who came into this red hot into the Horizon League tournament, 21-10 on the season, playing against Northern Kentucky. And this is a team that, I think it was 5 years ago, they went from Division II to Division I, and they've won the Horizon. They've been the Horizon representative of the NCAA tournament, I think 4 of those 5 years. So it's like it's kind of like Liberty in football. They didn't skip a beat moving up a level. Then we got North Dakota State taking on Oral Roberts. Interesting one. Max Abmas on Oral Roberts is one of the top players in the nation. He's an All-American college basketball guy. Remember, 358 teams, only 5 players are first-team All-American. And Max Abmas on Oral Roberts is one of those players, which is crazy, right? Up against North Dakota State, who we've won a bundle on. Some people in the comments put us on North Dakota State. It was Roberto put us on them, and we rode that pony. 8-2 in the last 10, and then of course Oral Roberts also, in the NCAA tournament last year, went deep into the tournament.
Yeah,
but not such a great season this year. And then we got St. Mary's against Santa Clara, the nightcap. This is the bailout chaser game. That it's like, oh man, I got one more game. I'm gonna go big on it.
11:30 Eastern.
Yep. What do you think?
Yeah, 2 hours after the rest of them. Oh man, I really hope Oral Roberts comes out and gets this win here. That's where my heart wants to go with that one. I'm going to lean on St. Mary's to get the win and cover in that late game. I think they're the stronger team. And here against Santa Clara, who has been strong, but I think St. Mary's definitely stronger. Yeah, give me St. Mary's laying those points. And then I'm going to have to go with Gonzaga. I'm not going to step in front of them in that one. I know it's a lot of points at 14, but I'm going to have to lay it there with them. And then with Northern Kentucky and Purdue Fort Wayne, give me the under in that one. I think we have seen struggles out of both these defenses giving up a lot, but I think they play a more cautious game coming out of the gate between each other because this is going to be a complete battle here. And both teams want the win so bad. I think defense steps up.
Well, I'm going to take a shot here on Wilmington. I don't have a premium pick on it, but I'm kind of going back and forth that I'm going to. I do like the way that Pat Kelsey coaches. I don't like the way that his teams generally don't play defense. And I think the deeper he gets into these tournaments, I think the more trouble he's going to be in not playing defense. Because Winthrop is kind of like here. And, like Duke and North Carolina and Kentucky would be here. Winthrop is kind of like here. Charleston is maybe here. So as he continues to move up, and he will continue to move up. Yeah. He will continue to move up. If he can get Charleston to the dance from here, he's got maybe another year at Charleston max before he goes to a big program. And I do believe that he chose that job where I believe he could have had others. I do believe he chose that job to be in that area of the country because of the availability of big-time programs there. Wake Forest and North Carolina State has been terrible this season, right? Got North Carolina, who Hubert Davis, people are kind of back and forth on them. And, Coach K's leaving and Duke. And we know that, when the big guns have left, generally the next guy is the guy that kind of doesn't, he kind of takes the brunt of it. We've seen it a bunch of times. We saw it at Carolina when Dean Smith left. We saw it, at Kentucky, when Rick Pitino left. Mm-hmm. We saw it, at Louisville just now when Rick Pitino left. We see it all the time. You see it all the time. Who was the quarterback of the Dolphins when Dan Marino retired? Jay Fiedler, right? That's that. It's kind of you don't want to be the guy after the guy. Who was the guy? So when Tom Osborne retired, at Nebraska, it was like they had, I just had the guy's name in my head. But the guy who coached at Ohio, for a bunch of years. And it turns out, if you look back, he's had the winningest record of any Nebraska coach since Tom Osborne, but it wasn't good enough. He got fired because look what you're comparing it to. And
absolutely. It's crazy.
So I think Pat Kelsey took that job because he believes he's in the right area of the country to showcase what he can do to some of those programs. But I don't think, maybe. But I think Wilmington is the better team here. And I was on Wilmington yesterday. A lot of people aren't even on yesterday. I understand that. You got housed. You got crushed. And the thing is that Elon got out to like an 18-4 lead in that game. So in the YouTube comments, I told you. I told you. Like, they won by 100. It's like, Elon stinks. I mean, they're terrible. It's like a joke. It's like, and I think Charleston is good, but I think when you're up against a team that can D it up against you, that's where Pat Kelsey is going to run into trouble here. Because College of Charleston, 333rd in the nation in defense, 301st in shooting percentage against. And while Wilmington isn't much better, especially guarding the perimeter, where they're absolutely one of the worst, they're not as bad across the board. Mm-hmm. Charleston can score like no one's business. They can. And that's Pat Kelsey's style. Push, 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 But I just think that Wilmington is the better team here. I like the way Charleston's playing coming in. I said that yesterday on the show when we picked them to beat Hofstra. Another unpopular pick from our show yesterday.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, Wilmington beat them 85-79 the second meeting just less than a month ago. And they won the first meeting at Charleston, 86-78, but that's a throwout. But Wilmington's covered the last 6 times they've met. But it was a coaching change. So
Yeah.
we'll give them that. Anyways, Gonzaga takes the court to play San Francisco. Gonzaga, it's kind of like these number one in these tournaments where they get the double bye. It's kind of like, they come out of the locker room for an exhibition, and then return back until they make their grand appearance for the big fight,
Yeah.
It's like San Francisco, I would say, had 0 chance in that game.
Oh, absolutely, they do.
And then Purdue, Fort Wayne up against Northern Kentucky. The Mastodons have been pretty tough, and getting to like Northern Kentucky coaching change, another coaching change there. They had Brannon, and then he went to Cincinnati, and this year they got off to a really slow start. But in the horizon, they've been good. But the Mastodons have been tough too. It's a tough one. I'd stay the hell away from that thing.
Definitely, it's going to be a hard one. For sure.
I like St. Mary's against Santa Clara, but I think that the line is getting a little out of hand there at 5.5. So I think that maybe I could go Santa Clara in the points. I think St. Mary's wins, but I think it's a 3-pointer.
Okay.
2 3-pointer. I think it just seems the bailout game is just, it's never going to be the obvious easy winner.
Well, exactly.
All right.
Good games in here, though, Mitch.
Super duper schedule. Tomorrow we start to get some of the big conferences. The teams that are teams that had the bad records in the bigger conferences start to play tomorrow, and Wednesday will be the second round in the ACC, but it'll be the opening round in the Pac-12, the Big East, and the Big Ten. So the reason why the opening round is on different days for these conferences, not only are some conferences bigger than other conferences, but also you have to remember that some conferences, the championship game is on Saturday, and then on Sunday, there's only 5 games. And that last one is always the Big Ten championship game. So that's why it starts a little later. So the ACC will be settled Saturday night. So when they're playing Sunday, it'll be out. Usually on Sunday, like the first one's like the Ivy League, and then they'll have like the AAC will be on Sunday, and then they'll have, it'll crank it up just a little bit like the Mountain West or Big East. And then they'll go, So let's just take a quick look and see what the Sunday schedule is. It is. So for Sunday, it's the Ivy League, the A10. It's exactly what we thought. Ivy League, A10, SEC championship. Then you have the AAC championship, and then the Big Ten championship. And then after the Big Ten championship, right when the Big Ten championship ends, they go right to the selection show, and they'll be announcing the bracket. We'll be criticizing them.
Wow, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, but and then on Saturday night, Big West championship, the WAC championship, the Southland championship, the Pac-12 championship. So these teams will be punching their tickets to the big dance. The Conference USA championship, the ACC championship, the Big Sky championship, the MAC championship, the Big East championship, the SWAC championship, the Big 12 championship, the Mountain West championship. It's like New Year's Day for college hoops. This is all between 6 and 11:30 Eastern time at night. All these championships. Wow. We go even further. The Metro Atlantic championship. And then you have all these semifinals, the Big Ten semifinal, the SEC semifinals, the Ivy semifinals. It opens up on Saturday, 11 a.m. with the America East Championship. Oh man!
Okay, I know you have a million TVs, but there's a million games. So how are you going to watch all of these? Are you going to record any and just not look at the scores?
No, I don't do that. I will be watching all of the games.
Flicking?
There'll be some flicking, but there'll also be if you look though, it's between 6 and 11:30. Those are the only games. So it's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So at the 6 o'clock time zone, there's only 3 games. Then at 6:30
Oh, okay,
there's a
that's
game.
not too bad.
7:30 there's one game. 8 o'clock one game. 8:30. So there will be a rotation. We'll need some iPads. We'll need some computers.
And good cases on them. Don't throw any of them.
Yeah, we'll have we'll definitely have some electronics in use for this one. There might be some phone. We'll do what we can do, and we'll watch this. But yeah, Saturday. I mean, what a loaded card. And the beauty of these games is there will be a Cinderella in there that will need to win that championship to go to the big dance. There will be one, and they say, what? Anyways, Joe, you got a parlay for today?
Say who it is.
This is the best week of college basketball of the year. I know everyone loves next week, and I love next week, right? But this is the best week of college basketball of the year.
Birthday this week as well. Let's do a week celebration now, and then your birthday month, we can do 3 weeks instead of 4.
Who had the birthday coming up? Someone had a birthday. I think it's you. Is it you?
No, I'm not till July.
July.
Yeah.
The month of July.
Yeah.
The whole month.
I can't remember who it was. Was it Ron Romanelli?
Yes. Oh, yes, Romanelli.
Yeah.
Yeah, Romanelli.
His birthday next weekend. Okay, so parlay. Let's go with Gonzaga laying all those points. Oral Roberts on the money line and the Dallas Mavericks on the money line.
I'm going to go with Wilmington on the money line. I'm going to go with UNC Wilmington money line. Delaware money line. Purdue Fort Wayne money line.
Okay. Should we build a quick one with the parlay tools?
I don't think so. We'll let everyone do that for themselves.
You guys go build your own.
Go build a parlay. Go do something with your lives. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Have an awesome day. We appreciate each and every one of you. Those that are premium members, VIP members. We're doing a combo show today. It's a light card. Tomorrow we probably won't be, but today we will. Aloha. Make it a winning day.